The air tasted like metal and rain as Commander Jace Mercer stumbled out of the wrecked shuttle, boots crunching against glassy soil. Twin suns glared down on the alien valley, their heat shimmering off rivers that looked more like liquid light than water. So much for a routine diplomatic survey. The crash report would be a masterpiece of understatement. His suit alarms whined until he silenced them with a slap. Priority 1, find the embassy. Priority 2, pretend you still know what you're doing. He followed a winding trail toward rising steam. The terrain felt alive, crystals humming underfoot, a low vibration echoing in his chest. Through the mist, he spotted movement, long dark hair, pale skin gleaming in the mineral haze. For half a heartbeat, he thought he'd found another human. Then she turned, eyes black as night and pupils ringed with faint silver light. "Oh, fantastic," he whispered. "Naked alien princess, probably sacred territory. This day just keeps getting better." Her gaze locked on him, horror flaring across her face. A second later she screamed, not from fear but fury. "You have seen me unbound by veil." Her accent twisted through the translator, each word sharp as crystal shards. "The law of reflection demands you bond or die." Jace raised both hands. "Okay, let's rewind. Accident, total misunderstanding. I can leave right now. You can keep the towel. Everyone wins." But the canyon answered with horns and shouts. Figures in silver armor appeared through the mist, spears glowing faintly blue. She cursed under her breath, grabbed his wrist, and yanked. "Move, human. They will kill us both for this dishonor." "Wait, both of us?" He gasped as she dragged him into a narrow tunnel cut through glowing stone. Steam hissed around them. Her hand was impossibly warm against his glove. Somewhere behind, boots clanged in pursuit. "I didn't even get your name." He shouted. "Lyra Vathan," she snapped. "And apparently your wife," Jace groaned. "This is not how first contact protocols work." "Neither is surviving them," she shot back. The tunnel opened into darkness that smelled of ozone and secrets. The ground pulsed beneath them, lights flickering to life as ancient carvings glowed. "Where are we?" he asked. Lyra looked over her shoulder, eyes fierce, almost afraid. "At the edge of truth," she said. "And you just changed both our destinies." Jace had faced alien warlords, bureaucratic nightmares, and one interplanetary food poisoning incident. But running hand in hand with a furious half-dressed alien princess through glowing caverns. That was new. The tunnel opened onto a breathtaking sight, a sprawling city suspended above rivers of molten light. Crystalline bridges arched like frozen rainbows, and towers shimmered with reflections of twin suns. Lyra didn't slow down. "Keep your head low and your mouth closed. Outsiders aren't welcome here." "Then you'll love me," Jace said, ducking under an archway as 2 patrol drones zipped past. "I'm practically invisible when I'm terrified." She shot him a glare that was half fury, half reluctant amusement. "You joke too much." "It's that or panic screaming," he muttered. They reached a crowded market terrace. The people, tall, luminous-skinned Virelians, moved with disciplined grace, their eyes flicking toward Jace with curiosity and judgment. Lyra handed him a shimmering cloak from a vendor who bowed in confusion. "Wear this. It hides your face, not your stupidity." "Good. My stupidity tends to shine," he replied, pulling the hood up. As they weaved through the market, Jace's diplomatic instincts fought with disbelief. A society advanced enough for floating cities, but still enforcing death over a glimpse of skin. There had to be a reason. "What exactly happens if we don't play along?" he asked quietly. Lyra hesitated. "The law of reflection binds our souls. If broken, it brings shame not just to us, but to our bloodlines. They'll hunt us as blasphemers." "Great," he sighed. "So interstellar tabloid scandal and execution. My parents will be so proud." They slipped into an abandoned corridor leading toward a shimmering dome, the old Earth Embassy, or what was left of it. The building had collapsed inward, scorch marks marring the walls. Jace's throat tightened. "There goes my backup plan." Lyra knelt, touching a crystal panel. The wall flickered, revealing coded messages scrolling in Virelian script. "My father ordered this sealed after your crash," she said softly. "He's the Chancellor. Your dad runs the planet." Jace rubbed his temples. Perfect! I'm married to space royalty and wanted for crimes I can't pronounce. Lyra's expression softened for the first time. You may yet live, human, but not if you keep talking. Sirens wailed outside, sharp, metallic, getting closer. Jace exhaled. Guess that's my cue for another bad decision. She looked at him, eyes glinting. Then make it count. The sirens faded behind them as Lyra guided Jace through a hidden passage beneath the ruined embassy. The air grew cooler, the light dimmer, and the hum of the city above gave way to a low, rhythmic vibration that seemed to come from the planet itself. Jace tripped over a root that glowed faintly blue. If this tunnel collapses, remind me to haunt whoever built it. Lyra smirked despite herself. Varelian engineers. They build for eternity, comforting. So did the Titanic. She rolled her eyes but didn't slow down. We're going to the archives beneath the sacred springs. It's where our oldest laws are kept, and where the truth of the reflection might still be recorded. Good, he said, ducking under a jagged arch. Because I'd like to renegotiate that whole marriage or death clause before the honeymoon. The tunnel widened into an enormous chamber lined with crystalline pillars. Light shimmered through them like liquid fire, projecting shifting images into the air. Ancient Varelians, symbols, battles, rituals. At the center stood a circular pool, calm and mirror-smooth. Lyra knelt beside it, her hand trembling. This is where our ancestors communed with the springs of truth. The legends say the water reveals the essence of any who stand before it. Jace crouched beside her, captivated by the reflections swirling across the surface. And what does it say about us? Before she could answer, the water rippled. A shape formed, two silhouettes intertwined, glowing in gold and blue. Lyra gasped. It's reading our bond. The chamber lights flared. Data streamed across the walls, flashing in both Varelian and Terran code. Jace's eyes widened. That's genetic information. It's analyzing us, Lyra's voice shook. The law wasn't meant for punishment, it was protection. Our people once shared origins with yours. The springs recognized the connection. Before he could reply, a sudden tremor rocked the chamber. A sharp voice echoed through the tunnel. Step away from the pool. Dozens of armored guards flooded in, led by a tall figure in crimson armor, Lord Draxon. His smile was venomous. You've desecrated sacred ground, Lady Lyra. The punishment will be swift. Jace stood protectively in front of her. You're late. We were just finding out your gods have a sense of humor. Draxon raised his weapon. Then laugh while you still breathe, human. The springs erupted in blinding light. When the light faded, Jace found himself on his knees, coughing through smoke and ozone. The chamber was in ruins. Cracks raced through the crystal floor, glowing with liquid fire beneath. Lyra stood beside him, defiant even as soldiers circled. Lord Draxon's voice cut through the chaos. You trespassed in forbidden sanctums, violated sacred law, and defiled the springs with alien blood. You will face judgment. Two guards seized Jace's arms. He twisted free on instinct. Hey, easy. I just got here. I didn't even have time to learn how to commit blasphemy properly. Silence, Draxon barked. The council will decide your fate. Hours later, Jace stood in a vast hall beneath twin suns, streaming through stained crystal. Thousands watched from tiered balconies. The council, robed in white light, sat above them like gods. Lyra, chained beside him, met his eyes, steady, fearless. The Chancellor rose. His voice carried weight and sorrow. My daughter, you have broken our oldest covenant. This human has poisoned your mind. Lyra's reply rang like glass striking stone. No, father. He opened my eyes. The springs themselves revealed our shared truth. Murmurs rippled through the hall. Draxon stepped forward. Lies. The springs reflect corruption when tainted. There is only one way to prove purity. Let them enter again. If the waters remain clear, the bond is true. If they darken, they both die, Jace muttered. Your justice system needs better PR. Lyra squeezed his hand. Trust the truth, Jace. It has already chosen us. They stepped into the pool together. The water surged around them, rising like breath, glowing first blue, then gold. Energy rippled outward, shaking the pillars. Gasps echoed as the entire hall began to vibrate. Draxon shouted, "Stop them!" But it was too late. The springs exploded into radiant light, not red or gold, but something entirely new, a shimmering white that made the suns themselves dim. The reflections of Jace and Lyra merged into one form, two hearts glowing as one pulse. When the brilliance faded, Jace collapsed, the world spinning. He felt Lyra's hand slip from his, and then nothing but silence. From somewhere far away, he heard Draxon's voice tremble. Impossible. The springs chose them, and then darkness swallowed everything. The first thing Jace felt was warmth, gentle, alive, like sunlight moving through water. He blinked. The ceiling above him shimmered with faint crystal light, and air hummed softly, almost like a heartbeat. He wasn't dead. That was a surprise. Lyra sat at his side, eyes tired but bright. "You made it," she whispered. "The spring spared us." Jace's voice came out rough. "Define spared. Everything hurts, and I think my hair's glowing." She smiled faintly. "A side effect of survival. The Matrix fused with our life energy. We're connected now, mind and soul, so we skipped the honeymoon and went straight to the shared consciousness phase," he said, grinning weakly. Romantic. Around them the grand hall had transformed. The cracked pillars now pulsed with white light, the crowd kneeling in stunned silence. Even the Chancellor, Lyra's father, stood frozen, his staff lowered. "The springs declared your bond true," he said finally. "The old law has ended. A new covenant begins." Jace tried to stand, swaying. "If this means no more executions for bad timing, I'm all for it." Laughter rippled through the hall, uncertain at first, then genuine. Draxon was gone, banished or fled, but Jace barely cared. He reached for Lyra's hand. Her fingers laced through his, grounding him more than any gravity field ever could. Weeks later, the city rebuilt itself under twin suns that finally felt warm instead of blinding. Humans and Virelians worked side by side, guided by the new covenant of truth. The sacred springs became a symbol of unity rather than fear. Jace stood on a balcony overlooking the shimmering valley. Lyra joined him, her hair catching the sunrise. "Peace looks good on you," she teased. "I was aiming for rugged exhaustion," he replied, "but I'll take it." Below, children played near the crystal pools, Virelian and human alike. One boy reached into the water, and it glowed in a dozen colors, brighter than ever before. Lyra leaned against Jace. "They'll write songs about us one day," he smirked. "Let's hope they skip the part where I tripped over sacred towels." She laughed softly, resting her head on his shoulder. "Every story needs a foolish beginning." He kissed her forehead, eyes on the twin suns rising. "Then here's to foolish beginnings and better endings," and the light of two worlds broke across their faces, golden and whole.